platforms across WAFF here in North Alabama, the Tennessee Valley. For those watching from afar on your phone, your smartphone, your tablet, wherever you are able to watch us, we are here discussing what could be the biggest news of the year in the sports world, but definitely the biggest news of the day here in the Yellowhammer State and beyond. Nick Saban, after 17 seasons as the Crimson Tide head football coach, decided to call it a career earlier this afternoon. Let's kind of break this down relative to a timeline before we start getting into a wave of statements from Nick Saban, Miss Terry, as we all know affectionately, Terry Saban, and the entire list. But roughly around lunchtime or so, if you're in the media, there are rumblings and potential innuendo regarding news, and much like you would imagine, we get a lot of it. And there were a few things that may have kind of come out earlier this afternoon, roughly around the lunchtime hour, that there potentially could be some movement when it revolves around Nick Saban. Fast forward to roughly around between the 3 and 4 p.m. hours, it started to get apparently real. Sources had confirmed to me that Nick Saban met with his team today for a mandatory meeting, and the news was made there. As Nick Saban decided to call it a career after 17 years on the capstone. From there, as you would imagine, national media, local media alike, all, including myself, announced the news during our early newscast today. And ultimately, we will have a new head football coach for the 2024 season in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, as we embark on a historic season with the 12-team college football playoff. And ironically enough, Nick Saban deciding that he will not embark on that journey to potentially win another national championship in the new format. So that's kind of a synopsis of kind of all of the moving parts behind the scenes that went on today. One thing is for certain, according to numerous sources from me, that Nick Saban had a lot of staff members and people that were within the building, the Malmore building, that had a zero clue. Take that for what it's worth, but ultimately, this is a decision that Nick Saban and Terry Saban and his lovely family decided to make, and ultimately, this is where we are at. Nick Saban officially retiring from coaching with the Crimson Tide of Alabama. So a lot of moving parts here within our station, North Alabama and the Tennessee Valley. We have a lot of people behind the scenes that are doing some amazing work throughout the day today as this happened real time, much like you received on your tablets, smartphones, word of mouth. But we got a full team here ready to kind of break this down and kind of let you be involved with this amazing news from earlier this afternoon as Nick Saban calls it a career. Let's go to a statement that literally just has been released courtesy of the Alabama Athletic Department and the university, courtesy of one and Nick Saban. And here is a piece of that official announcement from the university that reads in part from Nick Saban. The University of Alabama has been a very special place to Terry and me. We have enjoyed every minute of our 17 years being the head coach at Alabama, as well as becoming a part of the Tuscaloosa community. It is not just about how many games we won and lost, but it's about the legacy and how we want to go about it. We've always tried to do it the right way. The goal was always to help players create more value for their future, be the best player they could be, and be more successful in life because they were part of the program. Hopefully, we have done that, and we will always consider Alabama our home. Miss Terry also decided to release a statement as well, in part with the Knicks Kids Foundation. We all know the amazing work that Nick Saban has done with his amazing foundation across the board. And it is really, really cool to see the homes for the Habitat of Humanity that they've been able to do throughout his career in Alabama. But Miss Terry responding courtesy of Nick's Kids Foundation on her husband's retirement. It has been an incredible run these last 17 years at the University of Alabama, and we take with us many amazing memories. Alabama will always feel like sweet home to our family, and we'll be cheering Roll Tide. An amazing statement there. And the current sitting athletic director at the University of Alabama, Greg Byrne, he reads in part his statement, simply put, Nick Saban is one of the greatest coaches of all time in any sport, and the University of Alabama is fortunate to have had him leading our football program for the past 17 seasons. Throughout his career as head coach, his teams have won 7 national championships, 11 conference championships, and 312 games. And he's developed an NCAA record 49 NFL first-round draft picks, and most importantly, hundreds of college graduates. He is the consummate coach, mentor, and leader, and his impact is felt far beyond the football field. Another set of statements, one from the current sitting head coach, completing his first year as the head man for the Auburn Tigers, and it's Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze and Nick Saban, for those that don't know, have had a ton of respect toward each other, relationship that goes far beyond football. And Hugh reads in part via X on social media, hard to express how much Nick and Miss Terry have meant to Jill and I as friends, and you have forever set the mark for many to chase in this profession. Enjoy retirement with 2 huge exclamation points to boot. Here is a live look from Toomer's Corner, folks. Any Auburn fan, any Alabama fan understand this bitter and fierce rivalry. And to literally see Toomer's Corner rolled after Nick Saban officially announces his retirement lets anyone not familiar with this bitter rivalry understand how serious this is each and every November when these 2 teams battle. Some fans from our amazing producers in there are saying that this is from the basketball game from last night. Big win for the Auburn Tigers over a really good Texas A&M basketball team. At 4 p.m. today, the trees were clean, folks. So let's make no bones about it. There were fans, students alike, that have an affinity for Auburn that decided to roll Toomer's Corner. It is just another chapter in this storied rivalry between these 2 programs. But yes, that is a live look from Toomer's Corner at Auburn as the trees are rolled over on Toomer's Corner. We now have a statement from the governor of the Yellowhammer State, the state of Alabama, one Kay Ivey. And Governor Ivey says in part, Nick Saban will go down as one of the best in college football and in Alabama. In our culture, that means something. He and Terry are also tremendous Alabamians who have given so much to the Tuscaloosa community and our entire state. For you, Coach, I say Roll Tide. We continue with an outpouring of support. Thank you so much, everyone that is joining us across all of our social media platforms across the board. Hello to Christy Murphy Kennard. She says in part, I knew it was coming. Wish him the best and hope he lives life to the fullest in his retirement. Roll Tide, Coach. How about Becky Phillips Pitts? Sad for Alabama football, but so happy for Coach Saban and his family. He deserves it, and they deserve to spend their golden years doing what they want and enjoying life. Isn't that words to live by for everyone in life? Deborah Llewellyn saying sad. Tiffany Lynn Campbell saying it's the end of an era. Martha Compion saying, I was not mentally prepared for this today to happen. She's devastated, deserves to enjoy life throughout. Just some of a number of reactions from so many Crimson Tide fans, Tiger fans in Auburn, fans of college football as a whole, It has been an amazing day, to say the least. So earlier this afternoon, obviously, as you would imagine, we have so many former players, current players, so many people that are involved with this amazing program and have been involved in some form with one Nick Saban and his staff and his organization. We had an opportunity to hear from a player that will forever live in Alabama lore, in one Antonio Langham. You see, Antonio Langham is a 4-year letter winner for the Crimson Tide of Alabama, a 2-time All-American, consensus first-team All-American player as well, drafted in the first round to the Cleveland Browns. And there was one particular coach by the name of Nick Saban that was the defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns as he was starting his pro football career after leading Toledo to a conference championship in his first coaching stint as a head coach. His boss was Bill Belichick, and Bill Belichick and Nick Saban battled back and forth on if Antonio Langham was worth being drafted in the first round. And Nick Saban told Bill Belichick in no certain words, pick the best player. And he believed that a young man from Hazelwood High School, a Golden Bear alum from Town Creek, Alabama, could be just that missing piece to what could be a relationship with the Cleveland Browns en route to potential wins in the National Football League. Yours truly had the opportunity to hear from Antonio Langham earlier this afternoon as he discussed a relationship that far exceeds the Crimson Tide of Alabama.
Well, my relationship with Coach Saban goes a little deeper because he drafted me to Cleveland, to the Browns. So he was my defensive coordinator. So my relationship with Nick goes a long way back, other than just meeting him, running into him when he took the job at Bama. He drafted me. Belichick didn't want to draft me, but Nick said, "You want the better player? This is who we need to draft." And he drafted me, so our relationship is totally different. Miss Terry and Coach, my relationship with him goes a long way back.
Nick Saban, Antonio Langham, forever linked together from the infancy of Nick Saban as a head football coach. Remember, he was a head coach getting his coaching career started at Toledo. And after 1 year and 9 wins, decided to make the move to the National Football League to join Bill Belichick. So unbelievable run for Nick Saban. I am literally texting, returning messages and text messages from current players on the staff, players that have played for Nick Saban in the past. We hope to hear from a number of those players, hopefully tonight as we continue our coverage of Nick Saban retiring. You will hear from one Neelan Hibbett. He is the current long snapper for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. You will have an opportunity to hear from him coming up tomorrow night. As you would imagine, with news just breaking just a couple of hours ago, players on the current roster and those that have played for Nick Saban before have all been shocked, to say the least, as this news kind of maybe came out of nowhere for so many people across North Alabama. I am going to put someone on the phone right now really quick. Hey, Darwin, buddy, you're on live television right now, young man. I want to introduce you here since you were there with Nick Saban during his first year. Hold on one second. This is Darwin Salam, everyone. Darwin Salam is a North Alabama resident, played for Nick Saban. Darwin, if you wouldn't mind, my man, would you mind giving us your thoughts on Nick Saban retiring today and your history with Nick Saban as a player during his first year on the capstone?
Yo, hold on one second. Let me get this headset plugged in.
Sure. Take your time, man. We're in real time. There's no technical rhyme or reason to this.
Yeah, ideally, him retiring would have been great if Bama had, beat Michigan and made it to the college football final, and then always go out a winner is always the most ideal circumstance when you're playing competitive sports. But I feel like everything Coach Saban did up to the Michigan game made sure that he was going to go out a winner, because he did so much for the University of Alabama at large, and especially the football program. And I mean, even the state of Alabama and the city of Tuscaloosa, he made his impact with his family. So I think having the national championship in his last season would have been the most ideal. But I mean, the team competed to the last play. That's what he always preached, was personal accountability and taking care of your assignment and trusting the process. And just from seeing how the team progressed through adversity through the whole season, I mean, I don't think he could have went out with a more resilient, charismatic, and overcoming team. Because coming in 2007, after Coach Shula and the university split ways, we really didn't know who our coach was going to be. I remember hearing Rich Rodriguez getting thrown around, so all these other names, and then just all of a sudden Nick Saban from the Miami Dolphins gets the job. So we get a former NFL coach, former SEC national championship level coach coming in. We really didn't know what to expect. Being a walk-on, I just wanted a chance to play. So we were excited to have Coach Saban. But when we really got to work and he really saw what he was trying to do for not us as one team, but as a program at large, he was trying to instill personal accountability. He was trying to instill the process. And a lot of us really didn't see the bigger picture. Take out of yourself and put into the team is one thing that he preached and the entire coaching staff preached. And to see everything come into fruition after 17 years, it's went by really fast. It's went by extremely fast when you really think about the amount of players that have came through, the amount of memories, both good and bad, that the Crimson Tide Nation has experienced with Coach Saban as the head coach. It's been great to think about being a part of his first team. As a trainer here in town, I've been able to train two guys that are on the team now. So to be able to be a part of his first team and to be a part of the development of guys who were on his last team, it's just personally really cool for me.
Unbelievable. If you could just really quick, Darwin, in a quick nutshell, in maybe one sentence, just describe what Nick Saban, as a player within that team, especially trying to kind of earn your keep as a walk-on, could you explain and just give us one sentence of just what Nick Saban meant for you and his organization, for you as you've continued to grow as an adult and in life?
Take out of yourself and put into the team, whether it's your family as your team or an actual work team dynamic that you're a part of every day outside of the house. You have to do things that helps the team dynamic, not just yourself. And that's something that I've learned and been applying to my life ever since Coach Saban really came into my life back in 2007.
Darwin Salam, a former Alabama Crimson Tide standout on Nick Saban's very first team on the capstone, laying the proverbial groundwork and foundation for an amazing 17-year run on the capstone. Darwin, thanks so much. I'll be in contact with you, my man. Enjoy the rest of your night. Give the best to my family, and we'll talk soon.
All right, thanks a lot, Carl.
Absolutely.
Take care. Well done.
Darwin Salam there, the former player there for Nick Saban. Hard to believe that, as you would imagine, so many players and families and countless individuals that have been a part of this in some way or form there across the state, here in our area in North Alabama, with former players, and across the country as well. A couple of housekeeping notes that you'll be able to take in the next 24 hours. Antonio Langham will be here in studio with us tomorrow. You'll hear from Antonio as we, ironically enough, we're doing a story and celebrating a college football Hall of Fame induction on the national championship night on Monday night. But it's unbelievable how we've been able to now talk about what Nick Saban. So it'll be interesting to hear in the flesh, as we like to say, Antonio Langham, who will be here at our studios tomorrow afternoon. We'll also potentially have the opportunity to hear from a current player on the roster, and Neil Hibbett, amongst others, tomorrow as well, in their reactions as they prepare for life after Nick Saban, and where this current roster, where the current coaches on this roster, how this all unfolds in the coming days as we continue to kind of digest arguably the biggest news story within the state for the rest of the year. We're literally 10 days in, so that's where we have it. But a ton of reaction as we continue to roll on with a reaction across our area for sure. We mentioned Nick Saban had a statement, Miss Terry had a statement, Greg Byrne, athletic director, as well, had a statement. Hugh Freeze, we heard from him as well. Also heard a lot and hearing a lot from so many people that have tuned in to our Facebook Live and across all of our platforms. We truly appreciate that. I'm on my phone real time reading your messages as we speak. I do want to throw out a question. We might as well do it because we know what this is about. It's next man up. Nick Saban would tell you the same exact thing as well. His time is come. He is out. And now who will be the next head coach? Who do you want to be the new head coach for the Crimson Tide of Alabama? We are about to now officially look at more reaction from a number of potential replacements for Nick Saban. Listen, this is a fluid list. We all know that this is going to change from now, 2 minutes from now, and 10 minutes from now as well. You see some of the replacements there. There's Dan Lanning. We have all been privy to rumors of life after Nick Saban, and Dan Lanning seems to be at the top of that list no matter where you turn. And Dan Lanning is the current head coach for the Oregon Ducks. $20 million buyout for one Dan Lanning. A number of sources, a number of those in and around the program have said that he will be the first man to say no, if he indeed does say no, if they indeed reach out to him, which it's safe to say that they will. But Dan Lanning there for the Oregon Ducks, and you see James Franklin there from Penn State. We know Dabo Swinney and all of the ties he has to the University of Alabama as a former grad assistant there, wide receiver there at Alabama, and of course now the head coach for the Clemson Tigers. You see Mike Norvell there for Florida State, and Steve Sarkisian, former offensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide, current head coach for the Texas Longhorns. D'Amico Ryans, amazing standout for Saban in the Alabama Crimson Tide, a linebacker there. It has his team preparing for a playoff berth in the postseason with the Houston Texans. Amazing run there. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame as well. Of course, there is another name there that you may have heard of, one Lane Kiffin, that obviously I would assume, mere speculation, would be interested if he indeed received that phone call. Current head coach at Ole Miss as well. You have to throw his name in the proverbial hat as well. There he is, one Lane Kiffin from 2014 to I believe 2017, if my memory serves me correctly. Offensive coordinator for the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Took one Jalen Hurts, you may have heard of him before, to the SEC Offensive Player of the Year during his freshman season on the capstone. Lane, as you see there, part of this program for quite some time, went on to continue his coaching career. Now the head coach at Ole Miss, winning 11 games at Ole Miss. Hadn't been done before, folks. Taking care of Penn State in a Peach Bowl in a New Year's Day 6 game on New Year's Day. So that's another name that could potentially be out there. I'm reading some of your comments about that, but, you know, we see D'Amico Ryans from Jeanette Sterling Key. We see Jeff Bradford saying Kiffin. Christy Murphy Kennard once again chiming in saying my money goes on Kiffin will be the one. Who you all think will be the new head coach? Butch Brown saying top 5. Kiffin, Sarkisian, the FSU head coach Norvell, the Washington head coach Kalen DeBoer, who literally just finished the runner-up finish in the college football national championship game as well. Sarkisian keeps coming up here as well. Kiffin, offensive genius, defensively no. So many people having their say on who they may think will be the new head coach in charge. I believe we have a graphic from a statement from one Tommy Tuberville. Is that correct? There is Senator Tuberville on Saban's retirement. We remember one Tommy Tuberville the head coach for the Auburn Tigers, won 6 Iron Bowls in this highly contested rivalry between two in-state rivals. And his statement reads in part, "As a close friend and competitor for decades, I want to congratulate Nick Saban on a historic coaching career that achieved 7 national championships and 11 SEC championships, accomplishments that may never be equaled." What about Senator Katie Britt? Senator, I know, but Senator Tuberville, yeah, but I want to see if we maybe have that statement from Senator Britt. Here we go, as Nick Saban calls it a career today. And there she is, Senator Katie Britt for the state of Alabama. Coach Saban has redefined not only the Alabama football program, but the entire college football landscape. I believe that what he accomplished on the field was the greatest coaching job in the history of athletics. But his incredible impact on the University of Alabama, the Tuscaloosa community, and the state of Alabama extends well beyond the boundaries of Bryant-Denny Stadium. And lastly, the mayor of Tuscaloosa, Walt Maddox, also with the statement as well today. We'll have more on Mayor Maddox coming up tonight at 10. As you would imagine, everything is fluid as we continue to react from one Nick Saban calling it a career and retiring after 17 seasons on the capstone. Make sure you tune in tonight at 10 during our 10 p.m. newscast. We will have complete coverage. My teammate Cam Durr will be in here with more reaction. We'll kind of break down potential head coaching replacements, potential economic impact from the Tuscaloosa area from Nick Saban, what's left on his contract that he's walking away from. So much to get into tonight at 10. We'll have you completely covered. We want to thank you all so much for just joining us for a few minutes as we wrap up what's been an amazing day as Nick Saban, head coach at Alabama, calling it a career, retiring after 17 seasons. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.